So then Makhachev comes out against Drew Dober. Drew Dober should have been ranked in the first place. Islam's, I think, ranked, number 14 or some shit like that. And I said this going into this fight on last Monday's show. Anybody you talk to about Islam says this kid is the next world champion. This kid is the next Khabib. This kid is it. Nobody in the world can beat this kid. And I've taken that in. You know, he hasn't beat a ton of big names, but he also hasn't been that much danger. And you look at, you know, at lightweight, you got those four monsters, right? You got that lightweight tournament basically going on. And so that's kind of mapped out. But when you look at Islam and you look at the potential matchups, and this is what's going to happen whether you guys like it or not. Islam's fighting a top 5, top 4 guy next. He's going to get catapulted into that mix. He just is. So, you know, you have Dustin Poirier, who we're going to call the champ. You got Dustin Poirier, you got Justin Gaethje, and you got Michael Chandler, right? And so, you know, you got Charles Oliveira in there. It's a 4-man race. So who's on the outside looking in who can't really call their shots? It'd be Tony Ferguson. And Islam asked for Tony. I'm curious if Tony's going to take the fight. You know, he's turned down some other fights before, like Chandler, some other guys. And I'm all for it for this reason. How bad did you guys want to see Khabib and Tony? We were dying. Dude, it's very rare that fights or sports in general break my heart. When that fight got rescheduled for the 3rd time, it fucking broke my heart. I was dying because remember, that's vintage Tony, vintage Khabib. God, who's going to win? Tony's on this crazy win streak. Khabib's doing the goddamn thing. I want to see that fight so bad to figure out who is the best 155er on the planet, potentially who's the best fighter on the planet. Didn't happen. Well, now we kind of get that. Obviously, he's not Khabib, doesn't have the hype, doesn't have the background as far as his wins, but he's pretty similar. And if you talk to anybody at Daniel Cormier, Josh Thompson, Luke Rockhold, they're like, he's actually does things a lot better than Khabib. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, he hasn't even, what you've seen inside the octagon, he hasn't been pushed. He's not even using his tools. Like, he's just getting by with his, you know, he's still in first gear, man. You haven't seen this guy hit 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. No one's brought it out of him, which is fucking scary. So apparently, you know, when it comes to mixed martial arts, he's just as good as Khabib in wrestling. I think his submissions and ground pound, I don't know if it's the same as Khabib, especially with the wrist control, but his scrambles look pretty fucking filthy against Drew Dober. Apparently his striking's better than Khabib's. So with that said, I'm all for Islam versus Tony Ferguson because it's actually going to check that box. Now, granted, it might be a little different. Tony maybe he's a little weathered. Maybe, you know, he's coming off some losses, so the hype's not as much. But we can see because obviously being Islam or Khabib's coach has to be the easiest gig in the world. Take him down. Round 2. Yeah, keep taking him down. Take him down. Avoid the punch. Get to take him down. I mean, okay. I mean, I guess they warm you up, but then when you get out there, you know what the fuck to do. Get these guys down. So, you know, I just think it'd be a good run through for Islam and Tony to do this, and it kind of wets our beak for those that are still hanging on to Khabib Tony. It does for me. I'm all about it because what's interesting is obviously we know Tony Ferguson probably in that division. You know, Charles Oliveira might have something to say about it, but besides Charles, you know, off their back, dangerous. I would say he's probably more dangerous than Charles Oliveira off his back. Tony is, because the elbows, obviously the threat of submission, you know, and scrambles, the Darces, the Anacondas. He's a fucking monster down there. Well, let's see it, because this guy wants to go to the ground with you, and that's all he wants to do, and he reckons himself way better, and he called you out. I don't know why you wouldn't make that fight. So Islam's number 14. If you're hanging on to rankings in 14, I'm telling you, this guy's going to get catapulted. He's going to jump from 14 to 5. He's going to fight for a title by the end of this year. Even though there's those 4 horsemen at the top, it doesn't fucking matter. He's going to get to Tony. He'll be the favorite in that fight. Let's say the odd makers are right. He beats Tony. Then he's fighting the winner of, you know, Charles Oliveira, Chandler, or Justin Gaethje, Poirier. He's going to fight one of those guys, and he's fighting for the title. He's going to fight 3 times this year, and he's going to fight for a title. If I had a crystal ball, that's what's happens with Islam Makhachev. So you better get on the train now. Get on that fucking Russian train right now. Get on it, man. So you had that fight, right? And again, Drew Dober's a monster. Should have been ranked, been on a win streak. He's a fucking monster. Denver product. I think he's from Nebraska, but came up in the Denver circuit. I've been familiar with Drew Dober for years. He's a fucking savage. Looks like a superhero. His chin, his looks, he's winking at the camera. Monster. Super marketable. Great stand-up. You know, Islam's a monster. And he went to the third round with him, so it's nothing to hang your head on. I think with the right matchups, Drew Dober's a top 10 guy. As they said, most underrated fighter on the card or in the UFC. I don't know if he's the most underrated, but he's definitely there. I would actually say Jan's the most underrated, or Stipe's the most underrated, because they're champions already.